Good morning, church. Good morning, church. Welcome to the Sabbath Preparation Day. We want to start our session on health. I want us to read the book of Luke 2:52. Luke 2:52. I'll read from the version I have. It says, Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and all the people. Amen? Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and all the people. May God bless the reading. Let us all rise as we pray. King of kings and Lord of lords, we come before your throne of grace once more. That Lord, may you speak to your people as the Holy Spirit directs using your servant as we come in and the head session. May your name be glorified, begin with us, until we shall come to an end. This is our humble prayer. How many of you, as together with me, welcome the speaker? God is good all the time.
Principles. And remember, I keep on repeating that the health message we are teaching through the lens of Second Adventist Church. Yeah. This is what we should be learning. At some point, we had 8 principles, which was dubbed as New Start. Remember? Yeah, New Start. And now we are using celebrations. So I want to write celebrations going down, because we want to create them better. It's a very good summary of what we are learning, and then we select them on social health, which has been our burden for the whole week. And timekeeper, I request when it is 5 minutes to time, you notify me. Just ring the bell, then I will not left with 5 to summarize. Are we there? Yes. New start, we knew, but now we are doing celebrations. Celebrations. C, let's write now. C is choice. C is choice. E is exercise. L is liquid. C is choice. E is exercise. L is liquid. Put in bracket water. The other E is environment. B is belief.
R is rest. R is rest. A is air. T is temperance or temperance. T is temperance. I is integrity. Integrity. O is optimism. Optimism. N is nutrition.
Then S is social support. The very last S. S is social support. Can you repeat now? Yeah? C is what? Choice. Then E. E. B. R. A. T. I. O. Optimism. Yeah? Then N. Then the last S is, that is celebrations. Celebrations. So that is the acronym. That's what we are using as a church today to teach her as Seventh-day Adventist Church. And there is a book that has been done to that effect from the General Conference. So we are using the literature of documents that the church has approved. You realize that are how many? 12. Are they 12? You counted the 12. Yeah, but the format is 8. So it means there is an improvement. Because what the say is that as long as we appreciate something that God has given us, He adds us more light. Hello? I'm getting to respond. Yes, I will. There is a lady who made me happy yesterday that there are certain positions that do not wait to be created by the church. She was calling herself the chief whip. It made me happy yesterday. So I will appoint a chief whip today. If you don't talk, then due diligence, something will be done. Yeah, you'll be advised physically. Now choice. I want to just summarize. Then I go to the last. Now you realize from that list. That health is an embodiment. It's so big a thing. It's not about food. I think of the 12, we only have N, which is nutrition. And sometimes I feel, from my point where I'm standing, that we have overemphasized nutrition. And we have left the rest so that we are seen as a people of nutrition only. And that is what the world says about our understanding of health. But we realize that health is so big a word. There are several things in it. So if somebody asks you, somebody says that choices, yeah, have consequences. We are what we are today because of the choices we made yesterday. And your tomorrow is determined by your today. And we realize that choice is affecting almost all those other components. Because when you talk about nutrition, you have to make a choice. Are we there? Yes, even water, hydration. Some of us never take water. And if you were to do details on water, or even the composition of human anatomy, the body, what percentage constitutes the brain? Water. It's weighing almost 76 there. Yeah. Sasa kama mtu amekwambia if you have to imagine, tu you are scientific. You don't need to be offended. Amen. That is the truth. Because and when there is no water, the way you present irritability, fatigue, and even irrational, you're somebody who is not, you don't feel well. So you do well to take a lot of water. Because water, look at several benefits. The mode of transport, yeah, and lubricant, so many things in the body. So if you were to do each, I'm promising you, you'll do a month to get the celebrations. So choices are very important. Somebody may be asking, what about exercise? I believe you understand how important that is. Yeah? Inactivity is a very bad thing. It's a very bad thing. We need to do at least 40 or 30 minutes daily, and you consider some few things like consistency, intensity, and what? Frequency. Those are the three things that underpin exercise. Consistency, frequency, and intensity. There are people who say that they have walked, but if you see them the way they are walking, you don't see anything. You don't see anything like an exercise. It's too, they really enjoy themselves. You don't even see them sweat, but it says, I walk every day. So exercise is very important. Then we have what? Liquid, I already talked about. Environment. We understand? Yes. So environment will dictate so much about our health, which we need also to consider. Now, liquid, exercise, environment, that one I think we were taught even in the very basics. Keeping the environment, when we're talking about things like mosquitoes, rodents, environment is key to ensure that the place is safe for us, for human habitation. And then belief, at least those who have faith in Christ, lately research has revealed that the people who are calling themselves atheists, actually I don't want to go that direction, but atheism only makes sense because Christ is there. If there was no God, then we would not be having atheists. So it further confirms that God is there. Is that true? Yes. Believe, then rest. By the church, there is a misnomer or a misconception. Some people call themselves workaholics. You are deluded. But you can't challenge God, the author of rest. You can't whatsoever. Because even if you consider books like Psalm 104, verse 18 to 22, you look at the cycle, the way God has ordained, that in the morning, man lives and goes out for his labor. And when the evening approaches, then the animals come out of their caves, they go and God provides for them. In the morning, they return to their caves. Now that's God. So rest is something that is overlooked by many. Hello? So when we hear words like the power economy, be very careful. They explain some of the reasons why we have a lot of accidents in our roads. There is a question that somebody can say. Here, you have been active the whole day, you want to take half of the day again, and like that, you will not manage. You will not manage. Take quality rest, 6 to 7. If you have to have a breakdown of how many hours, you see when a child is born, sometimes even the mother is worried. And almost 21 hours, and they are not sick. And if they don't sleep like that again, now we feel them. So God does not make mistakes. Please be intentional about rest, quality rest. Even when you are leading out in a meeting, you will be so sober in making decisions. This irritability sometimes you see manifest in our meetings. Sometimes someone is just fatigued. So rest is important. Then we have air. Of course, fresh air, that's what we understand. The paper control is placed in our lives. Very important. Air. Then we have tea, temperance, moderation. The church defines temperance as being judicious, on that which is right, but shunning wholly that which is evil. Yeah? That which is good, even the good things. There is a lesson we did in this church. The topic was temperance. Do you remember? If you are keeping your technology, that you can even check and get it. Temperance, lesson important. Then what was there? The first page was talking about somebody who drank water, just well-treated water, but he drank it to death. you remember that lesson? So even the good, when taken to excess, it becomes detrimental. Everything needs moderation. And then after T, we talk of integrity. We were just filling in celebration for those who can relate. Now, integrity, how can integrity relate to health? Let me give you a bad example. You are of age, you are a parent. Like what currently is trending. Then somebody finds my son who is in Form 4, or my son daughter who is in the university, sees the picture of the father posted on Facebook that he has been involved in some scandal. Do you know how you are injured in that check? Am I making sense? Yes. Yes. So when we talk about social health, integrity is very key. Very key. Always be mindful of who you are. And it is worse when you are now a man of the cloth. So integrity will impact the ripple effect on your wife, on your children, on the people that through you God has brought into the church. They will really be affected socially and even mentally. So always be cognizant of that fact. Then after integrity, we have what? Optimism. Where there is no hope, people do what? Adventist. We need to have hope. Yeah? Are we there? Yeah, Christians, we are privileged because we have hope beyond what we are going through now. There is a land that is fairer than this. We by faith we can see it. So whether things are happening down here, but there is a place where we have stayed our eyes, and that keeps us going regardless. So that is very important when we are teaching health. I was just highlighting those one by one so that we understand that the package for health message is celebration. Then we have N, nutrition. Yeah? Balance, diet, and quality and quantity. Very important. Are we there? Yes. Balance, diet, quality, quantity, I dare say even frequency. We discourage a lot of snacking. We discourage it at all costs. The snacking stuff. And many more things could be talked about that. Then we have the last one, the social work. Support. I remember that still the model is fresh method. Mingling with people as well as their goal. That is part of them. Now, I want to isolate an example in the Bible. I don't know whether my colleagues who are to join me have come, but if they are not there, we will continue nonetheless.
We are here full.
Oh, great. Okay. Then you can move up from and sit there. Sit on this here. I hope that is understood. Now, let me prepare the congregation. We just want to have a 10 or so minutes where we want to engage by asking some questions. Yes, then the team up from here will be able to provide us with responses. We don't restrict you to social health. You can have even something medical to ask. Is that okay? Yes. And then they will be able to attend to our questions. It is important. Thank you. Now, how many minutes left?
18.
18. So let me use like 5. Maybe I don't know whether that will be enough. But social health. Now, let me say something. In the book of 2 Samuel 21, verse 14, verse 15, sorry, up to 17, 2 Samuel, can you project for me that, my brother? I want to read something there very fast. Somebody has said that your social network is your social is your what? Network. Network. Yes. 15 to 17. So I read and we scroll. Let all our eyes be stayed on the screen so that we move together. Once again, there was a battle between the Philistines and Israel. David went down with his men to fight against the Philistines, and he became exhausted. And Ishmael, one of the descendants of Rapha, bronze spearhead weighed 300 shekels, and who was armed with a new sword, said or thought, depending on the version you have, he would kill who? David. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to David's rescue. He struck the Philistine down and killed him. Then David's men swore to him, saying, never again will you go out without your battle, so that the love of Israel will not be extinguished. David has strong friends, therefore. If you move to the next line, you will find that there is war. From that verse, you realize that the target is who? He thought they would kill who? David. David is the target, is the leader. So the Philistines know about him from verse 7. The things he has done. So they are saying, if only but we can get the leader, we will be sorted. Yes. Then 4 friends of David say that, my friend, permit us to now take over, because we know who you are. Should you go and you are killed, then the life of Israel will be extinguished. I don't know if preacher or teacher in that thing. Sorry that we are human, we don't understand what I'm saying. Let me just pause and ask which type of friends you have, to make you think through that verse. You know, David was so key, and in every church, in every family, there is one person that when he's not there, it is perfect. I get it. And I always say that not just be part of statistics in nature. Actually, you just have that we come from harmony. You know, David recognizes the people from his play, and they say, even David, no, we still need him. Yes, have you seen when some people open a wall because they have lost identity, and it takes almost forever to raise 20,000? Until you go through the back door and tell some friends, me, sinner, I don't know how. That one tells you your habits. Am I clear? But people your friends come. One person opens the wall, and in a record of less than a week, we are granting 300,000 in a day. And you hear it being mentioned in church every other day. But here is a personality who comes to church every other single day. He sits at the back, and when he has a problem, even the church members are scratching their heads, throwing them on the face. But you've been in this church for more than a year. I don't know if maybe it's somebody. Yeah. Yes. And these are the people who complain the most. More than elder what wanaongelea sana. And nobody sees you. You come after the little discussion, immediately the parents, they are not even going the other side. You are going to left, you are going. Even that way, we are not known because of our problem. But then instead, he's put forward the best. And you see what he has done in the life of the children of Israel. He brought Goliath down. You come to 2 Samuel chapter 5, another war, you won. They are settled in the book of Samuel. So at this point in time, these people are saying, because of what you've done for us, can you now take it back? We want to sort this giant in your beer. Because of good network. Good relationship. Are we communicating? Yes. So we are saying it will pay back. Just be there. Just push it. When people are having an issue with chat, be there. We understand your financial muscles. Even if you're not able to, just being there is quite important. Yes, it's not a pressure of those who are maybe materially and no. It is a corporate affair. We are one body. We are one body. When there is a wedding, sure, somebody's child is graduating, and you hear an invite has been extended. Celebrate with those people. That's why Psalms 107 verse 8. Psalms 107, King James Version. Psalms 107 verse 8. Look at what it says. Then you get what we discuss. Psalms 107 verse 8. Oh, that man will do what? For it and where? Not your children. If you don't appreciate what others are going through, you're going to win. Learn to appreciate God for what He has done to other people's children. Are you getting it? What about verse 15? Now you are the people who are living. Can you read verse 15? Same verse. Let's read it. Chorus. Verse 21. Just lay your eyes up there. Verse 31. Now why? Why? And John is saying that the space in the Bible was so small. Why is God wasting in space? Repeating one verse over and over. Repetition deepens impression. He's putting emphasis. That learn to appreciate when others are doing well. Yes. So when we are talking about our interconnectedness, it is very important for our health. So if you move to the next verse, we are not reading now. That a giant came whose fingers were 12, 6, 6, toes 6, 6. But one of the friends of David stepped forward and said, "This one is for me. I'm starting this one on your behalf." Then the next one came, and the friend of David said, "Let me stop this one." You can repeat this from this verse after I have gone. Yes, even the family context, people may appreciate the power of relationship. Yeah. We have giants in life, friends. Cancer is not a simple disease. Hello? See, we agree. But people believe it's one of the worst conditions that it drains you and takes all your finances. It's a bad disease. To the point that some of the projects can stall, children can leave going to school. Even kidney problems. Somebody subjected to dialysis twice a week at a cost of almost 6,000 times 2 per week, that is around 12. And how much to live? That is when you now meet friends of David who will say, "For this quarter, if it is Pastor Tank, I'm stepping in." Yes. So be involved, get involved, hear my message about, be concerned about other people's affairs. That's why now David knew this. And you know they brought all the giants down. Should you not God forbid that no, you're not there? What about the fate of the children? People will remember, and that's one so. Hello? Yes. So we are asking, telling the church, let's have relationships. Don't be alone and be just you can get some really stacky words. Stacky words. Means I put your things in the car, whether here I take my kids and I go home, I don't want problems. I want peace always. You know, when you are in a problem, then you realize the power of relationships. Yes. So, friends, sometimes you make the life of pastors and then it's very difficult. You are being pursued like, please let us do this, ever complaining. Let's do this. And his coaches never write letters. Even as you're standing here, you just see somebody living here to receive a phone call. The next thing you hear is a scream. You never saw that coming. What has happened? On the way to Kisumu, something has happened. And you have always been alone. I enjoy mimi sitaki maneno. And you just go and worship my God. This is affecting most of our churches, except our church. No, so just leave it at that. Because we go that direction, somebody may think a conspiracy before. But we are thinking from the Bible. that David is being afflicted by his friends because of the people of God he has played in their lives. Well, just don't mind what people say. Just be at the front. Visit the people. Hello? Yeah. So social health is very important, friends. Today should something happen in our home. Do you have any of these ladies' friends who you think can even excuse herself from her home to come and stay with us just to support you emotionally, even for 2 days? Because you have a problem, there is an issue at home. Come here, everybody, do you know what to do? No, I'm being honest. Then I told her, you need to sit down again. Yeah. That's why even in relationships, sometimes we say be discriminating. Because there are people, nobody will listen. Faith is strong from the faith. You're getting my point? Yes, we need to complement. That's why God created us. It is not for that man to live alone. We need a there is something that is doing with you. If you leave this church, you will build the body. That's the naked truth. Yeah. There is that which my elder is doing at the top. So we need to be visible, be at the top. Not for sure, but let the work of God continue regardless. And God will pay back. Yes. So I want us to create some time now. And we have our experts. By God's grace, they are what they are in the language of Paul. Maybe I will categorize by asking a question so that we can know the direction we are going to take. We don't want to appear before the students that we are not prepared. So we must be super smart. As things are today, as things turn out today, there is an epidemiological shift. We are moving from communicable diseases to non-communicable diseases, which other writers call diseases of the West or of the cellular, all Western diseases. I don't know, maybe if I ask the congregation, do you know what these lifestyle diseases are? Some of them. This is one of them. High blood pressure, cardiovascular related stuff. Cancer, somebody said cancer. We are done. You are excused because you're not ready. Now, I wanted to ask from our panelists here that what has led to this sudden rise? Because if we don't know the cause of a thing, we cannot intervene right. And from the word lifestyle, I know when you know a cause of something, then the intervention can be almost sure. Yeah? You have to just work about that lifestyle. Could you please help us understand what has caused this, the sudden rise? I will just leave it to be open. I don't want to point at any one of us.
Okay, let me be the first one to attempt. Previously, we've been saying it was a disease that is related to the poor. But currently, there is an interrelationship between non-communicable diseases. We say it leads to poverty, and poverty can also lead to non-communicable diseases. So of late, it is interrelated. We can no longer say it is a disease of the poor.
Thank you. We identified rightly by saying it's lifestyle. So this comes to comparison between what did the earlier people do better that we don't do and lead to rise of these diseases. One, we have embraced too much softer life that is not identical with our former One is
I want you to address this communication.
yes, one is like even a simple exercise before the coming of motorbikes. Somebody would walk my place to the lake and back. Today, even if it is just stretching to a shorter distance, he wants to check the motorbike. And that deprives us of the what God created us for. Even a simple exercise, nobody bothers to wake up and even do a jog or something. So when we don't exercise your body and we feed our body with those softer things, initially some would feed on foods that are rich in what you call graffages. Today we are going for processed foods. We don't want to cook. We want to make it faster. Things that you can fix faster and eat. Our former parents would cook a meal, or sometimes just to make sure it is tender and good. But today we even want to go to the supermarket and buy a ready-made food, not minding how it's made. So what am I saying? It's like those foods that we tend to think are so good and so sweet are the ones that are processed or with common denomination as near as zangano, either bread or things related, and then we also use a lot of fats to make them, and that increases what is in our body as the unwanted cholesterol, that fat which is not helping our body. And this unwanted cholesterol, we build it up and we don't do exercise to burn it again. So it piles and piles and piles and causes us the likes of pressure, likes of diabetes and what. Maybe that is what I think is much related.
Okay, let's
So just to add a little bit, as a woman, in the past, women used to do a lot of domestic work, like going to the shamba, looking for firewood. But these days, our kitchens are very modernized. We have microwaves, we have the cooker, and so our life is very soft. So just like from what we have said, the trend of the things we do is changing our life. And from beauty, I can simply put something on the microwave and sit it down. I drive a vehicle and sit it down. I come to the house, I have a remote for the TV. That is for both men and women. So that's a sedentary life. We don't walk, we don't work. Mopping the floor for women, we have this modernized standing sticks that you can mop. There's one that now you can even switch. And you just push it and it does the mopping. So those kinds of things. Washing machine. Women used to bend to wash. Right now we have washing machines, or I get somebody else to do it. And actually the people we call the poor who come to work for us are healthier than us who are working. Because she's going to bend and wash, and as you do that, your mind also processes what you're saying. And that thinking in your mind is very healthy. At times you think when you think too much, particular indication is bad. It is very healthy. We don't use even half of our brain. So we should think, we should work. I'm not saying we use the modern things. We can use them, but find a way of exercising your body. So that is what is contributing to a lot of the disease effects.
thank you.
Yes. Morning. You left some of the non-communicable diseases. You only talk about 3. And there are so many. I want to give you most of them. Then I tell you the lifestyle which they have left. Number 1 is chronic kidney disease. These days, you are seeing a lot of people go for dialysis. Illegal. The kidneys are dead. There are things which are killing our kidneys. Unaambiwa ukunywe water. Utaki maji. Maji is tasteless. Mimi sikunywi maji. Mimi niko tu sawa. The kidneys are dying. Kidneys are like a pump. Your water. The pump, if it is not pumping water, inakauka, alafu inarust, alafu inakuwa ngumu. Sasa pambo yako haifanyi kazi. Now, that is one of the most common diseases we are seeing brought by the lifestyle, the non-communicable. What you are drinking, very common, inaitwa predator, inaitwa nini? Wewe unakunywa hii ya nguvu hii, inaitwa? There are so many. Haikuwa the bull, the shark, wanabeba. The common one is the unajua the monster wamechora kitu kimekebe, wamechora kitu ingine. They are very dangerous for your kidney. They are not adding anything, but they are killing the kidney. Number 2 is called liver, chronic liver diseases. Liver, the fatty liver. The fatty what? Liver. Everything unakula kama binadamu must pass through the liver. Na hiyo liver ndio unanoneza na chakula. Liver na wacha cancer na ingia stroke, one of them. Hii kukohoa, alafu unasema hiyo ni allergy. The only level you can be ni allergy. In our language inaitwa COPD. Inaitwa chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Hatuta kuambia tutaandika COPD kwa kare yako wewe tu. Ile unaelewa allergy. Allergies are in several names. So many things are causing allergy, but hii ya chronic, hii ya kukohoa, usiku ulali, wewe kulala flat. Afadhali ukae. Life work. Start. Hii watu wa pikipiki na kimbia na pikipiki na kifua bure hii. Wako na hiyo. Naona wewe na pikipiki na umeweka mtoto mdogo hapa mbele na kifua uchi. Alafu nakuja nikiingia kwako pharmacy, syrup ya 6 hizi ndogo hii. Unywa hii, leo ni hii, na kunywa nusu. Ndio ndio unaenda kwa kapona, unakupatia yako, unakunywa kidogo, haiponi, unaenda kwa bata na kunywa. So you open a pharmacy with syrup. Na wewe ndio umeleta hii nini? Shida. Are you getting me? And of course, the cancer which is now too much. You see now the government is fighting the asbestos in all the buildings. Are you aware? Inaitwa carcinogenics to the asbestos thing. Wewe nyumba yako ni asbestos na hiyo ndio unaweka drum ichoke maji. Aidha sasa nyinyi una maji wengi mtoni, mvua inakuja, inaangukia asbestos, inaingia, unaweka ndoo, unakunywa. Cancer. That is why it has arrested the biggest Jew. Saizi wewe wanaongea juu ya malaria. Malaria imekuwa kidogo. Because the government went and put all the effort on the communicable diseases. Siku hizi usikii, ni sana usikie ugonjwa wa kisamani kama marafu na mapafu. Ni watu usikie vipi? Siku hizi unasikia? Now non-communicable imeingia sana. Almost inawekwa kando kwa sababu kansa imeshuka. Utaona, those are the lifestyle. These people did not want to tell you the GMOs, the foods. Yeah? They genetically modify what? Oh, it's good food. What stands for? organism. And this one for plants and animal product. Kuku hii, unaona hii kuku hii ya siku mbili, siku tatu, kuku inakuliwa. Imenona, nono. Hii ya nyuma inaitwa? Hii ya nyuma yako inaitwa nini? Hii tunang'ang'ania hii inaitwa? Inaitwa nini? Sema kwa mfano hii inaitwa? Mapema. Asante sana.
Maybe, what have you to say, Daktari, about stress? Is it really a contributor? Because as things stand out now, there's a lot of stress. Would it also be informing why we have that stress? If yes, probably how? Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. But I wanted to say something now, so that we do not confuse ourselves, nor the people who listen to us. Because one, what I realized is that the tragedy of knowledge is that the ones who talk about knowledge, they don't know. And those who have knowledge, they don't talk about it. That is the problem. That's why even in our church and the congregation, the people who preach health, they have a haphazard knowledge of health. And those who know, they don't preach about it. So we need to be very clear. NCDs, non-communicable diseases, are not lifestyle diseases. That distinct must be there. When you talk about lifestyle diseases, you are talking about diseases which are generated out of how we live. Out of how we live. What I eat, how I exercise, how I sleep, how I do my things. Those are lifestyle diseases. And mark you, most of them form parts of non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are any disease you can have, whether lifestyle driven, it is caused by lifestyle, or non-lifestyle driven. But then you cannot transmit it to a next person. If I have high blood pressure, I cannot transmit it to my colleague. No. So that's what I call non-communicable. They are not transmissible between an individual to another. So non-communicable diseases can be lifestyle driven or non-lifestyle driven. So that clarity must be there. I will give an example. Sickle cell anemia is a non-communicable disease. Is it lifestyle driven? No. So it has to be very clear. So stress, how the brain operates. The brain communicates not through words. It communicates through hormones and molecules. So there are certain molecules that make the brain to be what it is, so that you are happy, you can form social networks, you can talk to people, you can do what? Molecules like dopamine. When they are secreted in the brain, you are happy, they excite your reward system, you operate well. But when they are not secreted, there are others which are secreted which work against the brain, like serotonin. So when there is and they cause secretion of certain hormones in the body, cortisol. So what happens is that the body is kept in a state of fear, anxiety, tension. This thing we call, you are almost on the run. So that state will eventually impair the functionality of the body. The first thing that can happen If there is high secretion of certain hormones, let's give an example. A stress hormone we call cortisol. What will it cause? Insulin resistance, and that will be diabetes type 2. Yeah. So that is what I can say.
Now, what he said, we realize that we're living in a world where we can't run away from stress. But at least we can mitigate. I think so. What are some of this? Yes, sorry.
When I check my lifestyle, other people's lifestyle, really all these things that are being pointed as indicators of causing these do not appear to be. Could these effects be underlying, and yet you have blood pressure? You don't have stress, you are not overthinking, you are not over all these things that the doctor has explained. And at the end of it all, you end up with blood pressure. So this lifestyle, like eating this or not eating this or doing that, because I'm confused. Thank you.
Yes.
Let me respond to that, Doctor. That is what necessitated the statement I said at the beginning. That when we say non-communicable diseases, let's not only say that they are lifestyle driven. Yes, you will mislead the congregation. We have lifestyle driven non-communicable diseases and non-lifestyle driven non-communicable diseases. Be clear. You are never here.
And that's why we have this meeting. To grow the economy, I mean, things must be clear and distinct. Even those which are genetically related. Politely. Yeah. So you can't blame that on lifestyle. Yes. I think we can proceed. I'm seeing a hand there. I want to request the class that when one is in the process of talking, you wait a bit. Because it's always the thought process. So the question escapes. That's fine.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is my question. Is stress important to my life or to your life? Can it impact positively? Is stress important? Can it make things work away? Thank you.
I know you are talking about stress, this stress. It depends with what amount of stress. That is not will point to something very serious. But that which triggers you, when I'm coming to fresh air, I must have some anxiety. Yeah. It pushes me to prepare, but you look in.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say something to that.
Yes, please. You cannot talk about that.
In mental health, as long as something does not cause dysfunction, inability to function appropriately, it has not become an issue. Even depression, it only becomes an issue when it disrupts the normal physiology and functionality. When someone loses a loved, like they have a husband, a wife, then the wife gets died. You want to say that person will not be stressed and will not be depressed. But you see, we can only treat when we have said this person has been within this state for how long, and this is dysfunction. So stress, we have positive stress that can help you. If you are a student, you have not revised, and then they say exam is in 2 days. you will be positively stressed, and that stress is the one that will push you to revise. So the brain is telling you, by the way, you are in problem. But after the exam, will you still be stressed? No. So there's a way we define this functionality.
Thank you.
Yes, Pastor, Professor, you wanted to know what are the signs. You might not know the symptoms. Symptoms is what you are feeling yourself, isn't it? But the signs are what we can also see, somebody else can see. We are talking about stress, but we must tell you the common symptoms of stress. The common one. You have a tension headache. You will run and you kuna malaria. Sinifu, unachukua dawa ya malaria, kumbe ni stress causing tension headache. You have digestive upset. Wewe unakimbia, fikiria nilikula chakula mbaya. Remember nikitoka hapo umejua hizi vitu. Hawatoka kwa sasa. The other one is trouble focusing. Itakuletea stress. Inaitwa frequent irritability. You are very much irritable. Kitu kidogo inadictate wewe mbaya sana. Unaambia tu mambo kidogo umekuwa. All these things zinaleta pressure in your mind and your body. Already you had the cortisol we was talking about. You had the noradrenaline. At the same time, you have the epinephrine. The other name for adrenaline, which normally is in our body. So these symptoms will be triggered. And because you don't know, the symptoms you might not know. So you are lucky. You are here today and we are here. You now know.
Thank you. Now, maybe the audience that as we ask questions, I want us to be a little bit systematic. Because when we think on interventions, the cause, the signs at the same time, then we may not even have a very good direction of flow. Yes, so permit that we moderate so that things are understood. Thank you. Now, I'm seeing only one hand there. Let's take that and proceed. Yes, my sister.
You want to you told us many things about stress and all lifestyle and non-communicable diseases. I'm asking about this thing, like the one that we have right now. A person just is well